Welcome back to the channel. Picture this. You're walking past your snake plant one morning. That indestructible, ironclad plant you've had sitting in the corner for years. You barely water it. You rarely look at it. Yet it survives everything. But today, something is different. Rising straight out of the center of those sharp leaves is a long, elegant stalk covered in small, delicate white flowers. And when night falls, your entire room is filled with a rich, surprisingly sweet fragrance. You stop in your tracks. Why? Because you know that a snake plant blooming is one of the rarest events in the botanical world. Most people own one for 15, 20 years, or even a lifetime, and never see a single bud. When this anomaly happens, the question isn't just how it happened, but what does it mean for your home? Today, we are diving deep into the ultimate mystery of the blooming snake plant. And what you're about to discover is fascinating. Because from completely different paths, ancient traditional wisdom and modern military-grade NASA science point to the exact same, mind-blowing conclusion about what this flower represents. To understand the flower, we first have to understand the blade. For generations across Africa, Asia, and right here, in American folk traditions, the snake plant has been revered as much more than a simple piece of decor. With its upright, thick, sword-like leaves pointing resolutely to the sky, ancient traditions viewed the plant as a living shield. In Feng Shui, this sharp geometry creates what masters call cutting energy, a protective barrier that actively disperses negative or stagnant qi before it can settle into your living space. It's why for decades, homeowners have placed them directly behind entrance doors to guard their household's peace. But in West Africa, where this plant originally evolved in the wild, a blooming snake plant was never considered a random botanical accident. To these cultures, the plant is deeply receptive to the energy of its environment. They believed a snake plant would only bloom when a household reached an elevated state of genuine, unspoken harmony. The bloom was the plant's way of celebrating that peace. In historical West African villages, when a plant bloomed, it wasn't kept a secret. Families would invite their neighbors over at night, just to witness the blossoms opening, marking the date as a sign of environmental and spiritual prosperity. When the plant made its way to the American South in the late 1800s, this lore evolved into documented family histories, passed down particularly by elderly keepers in Georgia, the Carolinas, and Louisiana. To them, a bloom didn't mean financial fortune was coming. It meant the foundation for success was already present. The plant acts like a smoke detector, but instead of detecting smoke, it detects that your life and environment are finally in perfect alignment. Now, if you're a skeptic who doesn't lean into ancient traditions, this is where the hard science comes in, and it is arguably even more remarkable. In the late 1980s, researchers at NASA's Stennis Space Center conducted the famous Clean Air Study to find ways to purify air inside sealed space stations. They discovered that the snake plant is a biological powerhouse. It is highly efficient at pulling toxic, volatile organic compounds right out of the air. Specifically, heavy hitters like formaldehyde, benzene, xylene, and toluene, which constantly off-gas from modern furniture, carpets, and household paints. Furthermore, the snake plant possesses a rare evolutionary adaptation known as CAM photosynthesis, crassulacean acid metabolism. Unlike 90% of houseplants that consume oxygen at night, the snake plant seals its pores during the day to preserve water. At night, it opens them wide, quietly absorbing carbon dioxide and pumping a rich, fresh supply of pure oxygen into your bedroom while you sleep. This massive nighttime oxygen boost is scientifically proven to improve sleep quality, reduce morning headaches, and lower irritability. So what does this have to do with that rare flower? Think of the plant as an engine. When a snake plant is kept in a heavy, unventilated, or toxin-rich environment, it has to expend a massive amount of its cellular energy simply filtering those toxins and fighting for survival. It has zero energy left to spare. But when your home environment stabilizes, when the air quality is excellent, the ventilation is sound, the temperature is steady, and the plant has successfully cleaned its space, something incredible happens. The plant suddenly finds itself with a metabolic surplus energy. Because it no longer needs to use its reserves for basic survival, it redirects that leftover energy toward its ultimate evolutionary goal, reproduction. It produces a flower. Do you see the connection? Science says the plant blooms when its environment reaches an optimal, clean, toxin-free state of health. Ancient tradition says it blooms when the home reaches perfect harmony and balance. They are describing the exact same truth, using two different languages. Your snake plant blooms only when you have created a genuinely healthy space to support it. While you cannot force a snake plant to bloom overnight, you can deliberately set the stage. If you want to experience this rare event in your own home, you need to trigger its ancient evolutionary code using 5 specific, highly controlled variables. The light code, seasonal variance. Snake plants can survive in dark corners, but they will never bloom there. They need bright, indirect sunlight for at least 6 hours a day, such as near an east or south-facing window. To trigger a bloom, mimic nature. Allow it to receive slightly more light during the spring and summer, and let it rest in lower light during the winter. The container code, root restriction. Do not shift your snake plant into a massive pot, thinking it will grow better. These plants are notorious for blooming only when they are significantly root-bound. When the roots are tightly packed and hugging the inside of the container, it sends a biological signal to the plant that it has maximized its spatial resources, prompting it to switch from growing leaves to shooting up a flower stalk. The hydration code, controlled drought stress, overwatering, is the fastest way to kill this plant, and a guarantee it will never bloom. Let the soil dry out 100% between waterings. In the winter, you may only need to water it once a month. That mild drought stress mimics the dry season of its native West African habitat, which is the primary biological trigger for flowering. The temperature code, nighttime drop. While they prefer standard, warm house temperatures, they are highly responsive to thermal drops. If you can expose the plant to slightly cooler nighttime temperatures in the autumn, around 60 degrees Fahrenheit or 15 degrees Celsius, without exposing it to actual frost, this thermal variance serves as a powerful wake-up call for the plant's reproductive hormones. The nutrition and maturity code use a highly porous, sharp-draining soil mix, equal parts potting soil, perlite, and coarse sand. Feed it with a balanced fertilizer, diluted to half strength only once a month during the summer. Most importantly, have patience. A snake plant typically needs to reach full maturity, between 3 to 10 years old, before it is mature enough to yield a bloom. The bloom of a snake plant is incredibly fleeting. The flowers last only a few days before they fade away, yet the plant spends years, sometimes a decade, silently accumulating the strength and the perfect environment to produce them. It serves as a profound reminder for our own lives. In a world that demands everything happen instantly, this silent warrior reminds us that the finest things in life, our health, our peace, and our homes, require time, resilience, and steady, quiet dedication. Even a plant built to endure neglect will choose to spend its hard-earned energy creating something beautiful, provided it is given a stable, harmonious space to thrive. If your snake plant blooms, take it as a hard-earned compliment. It means you've engineered a home that is biologically healthy and energetically balanced. Has your snake plant ever surprised you with a bloom? How many years have you kept yours? Let me know your thoughts and your region in the comments below. If you appreciated this blend of practical science and timeless wisdom, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with a fellow plant keeper. Thank you for watching. Keep your spaces healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.